Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director David Riggleman. It's a sobering reality. Southern Nevada ranks among the top communities in the nation for deaths on our local roadways. Coming up on this show, we'll discuss what's being done to protect and save lives. Here to talk about this important topic and much more is our Mayor Pro Tem, Brian Knutson. Welcome back. Mayor Pro Tem, how are you?
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
This is such a timely discussion. We're going to get into that in a few minutes here, but the time to talk about safety on the roadways and how dangerous things have become is now. We're going to talk about that here with a very special guest, in fact. But before we get to that, you represent Ward 1 on the City Council. If you're not exactly sure where Ward 1 is located, well, don't worry. We're going to show you on the map. It's really the heart of our cities, where the city really started for all intents and purposes, right at the Springs Preserve area there. And if you live in that area or work in that area, of course, you're in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas. And if you're a resident there, you are represented on the City Council by Brian Knutson, who is now our Mayor Pro Tem. Well, Mayor Pro Tem, you know this. We have a very special guest here to talk about pedestrian safety, vehicle safety. Today is no different because this is just such a timely topic. But before we introduce our special guest, we want to show you this important video. Please watch.
November 25th to now doesn't seem like a long time, but when you're in constant pain, it's been an eternity. I was walking home Friday night from services because on the Sabbath we don't drive, we don't use electronics, we don't carry phones. I was the first one to arrive at the crosswalk at Delray and Arville. I looked both directions, no cars were coming. A car came out of the Walmart parking lot. He hit me. I flew up onto his hood, shattered his windshield. I broke 13 bones, both arms, both legs, my back. I had a skull fracture, and I broke 5 ribs. My wife was there. My wife of 49 years has been by my side the entire time. Sorry, I get a little emotional sometimes. I'm very lucky to be alive.
This is his stuff. I don't know what the other shoe is. The other shoe flew. Okay.
God saved me for a reason. I've got to find that reason. The driver took his attention off the road for just a moment, and it has changed my life forever. I will never fully recover from this.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to read a letter that came from a constituent who was unfortunately hit by a car, so if that's okay, and then I would enter it into the public record. Dear Las Vegas City Council members, on the evening of November 25th, 2022, I was walking home from synagogue, and while in the crosswalk, a driver hit me with his car. The driver stopped and called the ambulance, and I was transported to a local hospital. I spent 2 weeks in intensive care in critical condition after 3 surgeries and 13 broken bones, including both legs, both arms, my spine, several ribs, and my skull. The irony of this accident is that safety has always been a cornerstone of my contribution to the community. I created and ran a security company, headed the neighborhood watch, and was instrumental, along with my wife, in installing the very crosswalk that I was in when I was hit by the car.
We certainly wish Mr. Goldblatt a recovery. I know it won't be speedy. It sounds horrible. And the fact that he was in the crosswalk and it happened, he's not, sadly, the only one.
Madam Mayor, and with support from Mr. Goldblatt, his wife Sean, and their 10 children, I am going to move to approve the City of Las Vegas Vision Zero Action Plan.
Vision Zero is a resolution that combines city, county, state, and federal funds to create safer pedestrian crosswalks. If you see someone in a crosswalk, stop.
And with that, everyone, we welcome Hal Goldblatt to the show. Hal, thank you so much for being here. He is a safety advocate, a traffic safety advocate for obvious reasons. And Hal, we're glad you're here because logic would have said otherwise.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm here too. Safety is very much important to me even before the accident. but now much more than ever. And as I reached out to different news stations and programs, the first thing they asked me was, well, who do you represent? And I said, I'm just one person. And they said, well, you have to be part of a group to be on our show.
Not here, Hal.
Yes. So actually, I reached out to Brian, who's been a supporter and helped me in the hospital and at home. He's an incredible city councilman. And he said, well, we could make you a community leader, a advocate for traffic safety. Mm-hmm. And with that, I can represent as a volunteer the city of Las Vegas, and that's the group that I'm with. And I'm very proud to be part of the city of Las Vegas and all that they've done. We've lived here 31 years and had many actions with the city council through the years, and I'm just very happy to be alive and be able to do something.
Yeah. Well, Hal, your story is so very timely. Mayor Pro Tem, we were talking about this before we went on the air, but September was our deadliest month for pedestrians in Las Vegas history. It's a very, very scary statistic.
It's sad. It's shameful. You can't wake up anymore without seeing another fatal accident in the newspaper, on the TV. And so it's something that I think about all the time, and it's because of Hal and because of all the other people like Hal. Where as a government person, as an elected official, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to change the world to make it better? And so I think we have an amazing public works team, and they really put a lot of energy into developing the Vision Zero, and they are definitely putting a lot of funding towards making our roads safer. But it can't stop there. And so
exactly.
I think it's about telling stories. It's about changing hearts and minds. Mm-hmm. And for anybody who's watching, if you get behind a wheel, you need to stop and think about Hal. You need to stop and think about everybody else that's been hurt, that's been killed, the families that are left devastated because of poor decision making behind a wheel.
Right.
And that's the only way I know how to do that, because it's not just funding, it's not just the government, it's how do we change hearts and minds. And I think that's about telling a story. You have to do it over and over and over again until you get to everybody, so that they're thinking about Hal or someone else they love, or they're thinking about their children or their grandparents, and how do we make it a safer environment for everyone.
Hal, what's your message? How are you getting the message out to people that we just need to be more careful? And to Brian's point, a fatal accident used to be a fairly rare occurrence. I've been in Las Vegas a little longer than you, Hal, and it was a fairly rare occurrence here. Now we have them almost every single day, sometimes multiple in one day.
Drivers are distracted. They take their eyes off the road for a moment. The driver that hit me said he reached down to adjust his heater and wasn't paying attention. The signs, billboards, we have so much as we're driving that can distract us. The radio. Pay attention. Keep your eye on the road. That's the message. And slow down. That's very important. People are in such a hurry to get everywhere, and really you don't get there that much faster. 5 minutes isn't going to make a difference. Slow down, pay attention, and if you see somebody in a crosswalk standing at the edge of it, please stop for them. Don't just drive by. That crosswalk on Arville, several times I stand there and 10 cars will go by without stopping. They're in such a hurry to get to Walmart to shop. I don't understand it. Yeah. If you see somebody, please stop. And we have so many schools, and every school has a school zone. And so many children have been hit and killed in crosswalks by schools. Pay attention, look for crosswalks, and pay attention to who's there.
What do you think has changed? Is it because our city's larger now? Are people in more of a hurry since the pandemic? I hear that kind of attitudes have changed since the pandemic. What's your take? I agree with you. It seems like people are in more of a hurry than I've ever recalled.
Right. People are rushing everywhere, and I don't understand it either. if the speed limit's 35, go 35. Don't go 50, 60 miles an hour on a fairly residential street.
Right.
Just slow down, pay attention, and please stop for people in a crosswalk.
Yeah, it's the law besides.
This is why I think it's important for Hal. So I'm just gonna, it can only speak for myself. So I need to slow down. I need to realize what's around me, and I need to have less distractions when I'm driving. And I think about it in terms of my children. So I have my 8-year-old and my almost 6-year-old. And they're a lot, and I can't imagine losing them. I can't imagine a distracted driver, and so I can speak for myself only. Is like listening to a message is how can I slow it down? I was 10 minutes late coming today. How can I slow it down and realize that 10 minutes is just 10 minutes? It's not a life. And how can you do that?
You know, and in Hal's case, the driver at least stopped, called the ambulance. Obviously it was just distracted versus trying to do anything like they saw you and were going to try to shoot past.
Right. They weren't drunk. They weren't on drugs.
Exactly. And your accident was still so devastating.
Yes. And it's a miracle I'm alive. With that much damage, for 48 hours, they didn't think that I would make it. But I did, and God saved me, and I'm going to give back to the community as much as I can.
Well, Hal, I hope that people will take that to heart and be paying attention to your message out there, because it's a powerful one. And Hal, you could have been anybody on any street, anywhere in Las Vegas. What happened to you happens nearly every day, and then often does happen every day. So
the mayor provides really good advice. It starts right here. It starts with us, and so we find our purpose. We work our very best to fulfill a purpose, and that's what I hear you saying is there's a purpose in life, and we've got to slow down. We've got to recognize the value of every single person around us, and when we're driving a car in particular, we have to see what's around us and focus.
Starts with each of us. Hal, we're about out of time. I'll give you the final word.
Well, you mentioned that September was the deadliest month. There were 11 people killed in September. In October, there were 10. So it's almost the same. And the rate that we're going, we're soon going to bypass 2017, which was the deadliest month, deadliest year.
We're on a bad track,
Yeah.
Well, but we can be better.
We can.
We can.
And Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem, you and your other elected officials out there are working hard to try to do what we can to make the roads safer, but also doing what we can to get messages out to change people's hearts and minds when you get behind the wheel.
It's the best way to do it, is change them one person at a time.
One person at a time.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Thank you for caring enough to
Thank you
have a
for
purpose.
allowing me to do it.
Wow, it's been a pleasure. I'm so glad that you're still with us and that you're able to carry this message. It's an important one. I know a lot of people are going to listen to it now because of you. Well, everyone, we need to take a short break, but when Mayor Pro Tem and I come back, we're going to tell you about a park showing visitors that life is beautiful. Plus, we're going to be celebrating Las Vegas Pride. Mayor Pro Tem is going to fill us in on the details. That's right after this. Welcome back, everyone. We're talking about things going on in Ward 1 with our Mayor Pro Tem, Brian Knutson. Halloween just passed, so let's start there. Hopefully there were less tricks and more treats for everyone out there, but you were busy one way or the other. There were like 50 events that went on in Ward 1.
I basically went from event to event to event. We probably gave out 700,000 pieces of candy.
Yeah.
It was a little bit ridiculous
Exactly.
for me, but fun.
A
Everyone had fun.
A sugar high for all, but
Yes.
that's obligatory on Halloween. So Favorite one out there? Which event did you like the most? Or they were all great?
They were all great. Mirabelli always does an amazing job,
do.
and I wasn't there for long enough. But they did the bounce house, and they had a movie in the park, and they had groups set up for trunk or treat. And so they did. Mirabelli staff always just do a really great job. We were at another charter school, Sage Collegiate, and they probably had 600 families out. Like, it was crazy busy.
Wow.
And then Bolden Area Command a couple days later did their trunk or treat in the new Mario's grocery store right off of MLK, and there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and there was, for me, it was a little too many people, but it was fun. Everyone was having a great time, so everyone did a great job. Super grateful for my team who helped distribute the candy and beat all the events, and we tried to make everything. It was fun.
That's awesome. That's a busy schedule.
I'm glad it's over.
The kids went as what? Your kids went as what this year?
We, as a family, we did the Mario Brothers. So Andrew was Bowser, and Kate was Princess Peach, and then Brian and I were Mario and Luigi.
Nice. I love the theme, though.
Yes.
Family theme. I saw a lot of Mario and Luigi's this year.
It's very popular.
It came to our door. Yeah. So good stuff. Well, obviously, you're going to have to outdo all that next year, so good luck. And I love this too, Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem. Speaking of the kids and costumes, this group dresses up for the stage instead of for the scares. But Mayor Pro Tem, you recently attended the Rainbow Company's production of The Lord of the Flies, a classic, and you made a special presentation to the cast and brought a VIP guest with you.
I did. That's my daughter, Kate. Andrew was at piano practice at that point, so I brought Kate up on stage with me.
She's getting so big now.
She is, and normally Kate kind of sits in the back. She's a little bit shy, but she wanted to go up on stage, and it was so much fun because I took her backstage, and it's very dark backstage, and all the performers were there, and they all recognized me, but they remembered Andrew because Andrew went through drama camp over the summer.
That's right.
So they started talking to Kate about Andrew, and she got super excited and fun, and she had a blast and came up on stage with me.
Did the acting bug bite her too? So.
I don't know about the acting bug. She liked watching. She liked talking a lot. But we got up there, and normally I was thinking she wouldn't want to sit through the show. Andrew would love to sit through anything, but she actually sat through an hour and a half of it. And then it is for an older kid, an older audience, and so I didn't want her to see all the.
It's a heavy script.
It's a lot to think through, but she made it through an hour and a half of the show and had a great time, and the cast did amazing as always. Absolutely loved it.
See, she's already got a great head on her shoulders.
And Andrew's back at Charleston Heights for performance fundamentals every Saturday, and I run into people all the time. Super fun.
Good for you. Good for you. That's a great thing to get involved with. I know from firsthand experience with my kids. So. MPT, I love this too. Let's talk about a place where you'll find a lot of children and families. Speaking of which, the park, Rotary Park, is now officially designated as a children's park, if you hadn't already heard. It also received an artistic makeover courtesy of Life is Beautiful. And, you know, the art out of Life is Beautiful is always fantastic. And check this out. So not just in the downtown, but out at Rotary Park too. Very nice.
Yeah, and it was so much fun. So I mentioned, because I did we were there doing an event, and I was there, and I was talking about the fact that was the last event of like 12 events over 3 days, and so I was like, I'm tired. I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to be around people. But I brought my children out, and Corey Bennett is the artist, and he was there, and he's super cool. And my kids got really into it, so they picked up spray paint cans. They'd never done that before, and they started spraying the benches, and got really into it. And Corey kind of helped them along, and so it was really fun. We were there for like 2 hours painting benches, and you can go out there. And what I commented on was, my kids will always go back to that park and remember that they own it. They were part of it. They built it, and that's what's great about Las Vegas, is there's so much in our community that you can feel ownership over.
So true. That is exactly the case. MPT, tell everybody where Rotary Park is located if they're not exactly sure.
So if you go up Charleston and turn on to Hinson, there's a Sage Collegiate is a charter school right there. It's the old Elks Lodge, for those of you who remember.
That's right.
There's Fire Station that's right there, 106.
Fire Station 5, yeah.
Fire Station 5, sorry.
Yep, yep.
106 is on Upland. Fire Station 5. Craigan Park, which we're about to put a bunch of money into and renovate. And then Hyde Park is right there. So it's a great little pocket park, and it's much more colorful now.
It is, and the artwork turned out beautifully.
It's great. If you don't have a chance, like you really should pay attention to what you're seeing on TV. Otherwise, drive by and go and have a picnic, because it's really nice.
It's beautiful. It's really nice. And Mayor Pro Tem, I like this too. Speaking of Rotary Park, we know you're a fan of parks and keeping them clean, and we want to thank the community out there who helped us clean up a couple of parks, including Rotary Park, But then also over at Rainbow Park, we love volunteers.
We were a very busy weekend. We cleaned up Rotary right before Life is Beautiful painting, and then the next day we were at Rainbow Family and had between the two of them probably had 100 people, and it was just great. Everyone got along, everyone had fun, everyone picked up trash. Great organization with Get Outdoors Nevada, and we had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, great organization. We say this, we have great grounds crews that keep our parks looking shipshape, but when we get the volunteers out there, and you have always a big draw, you always draw a lot of people out when you put out the word, they get all the little things that our folks can't get to, the little pieces of cigarette butt and trash that
gum
get stuck,
wrappers,
exactly,
water bottles, and all those things
stuck in the bushes back there where our folks can't, sometimes just don't even see it. And you get 100 volunteers going through it, and it's just, they get it all spick and span.
And this year, my kids were really into it this year. I think they're getting a little older, so less time playing on the playground, more time picking up trash.
Oh, nice.
And so I was telling them, see what happens when you throw trash on the ground, somebody else has to pick it up, so stop it.
There you go.
Great learning experience. My kids are really getting into it now.
Oh, good for them. And folks, will keep you posted. Those volunteer events with Get Outdoors Nevada, we do many of those during the year through in all the wards. And of course, we'll get the word out. This time of year it's really good because the weather's nice, not so hot.
Wonderful. It's beautiful.
You can get out there and roll up your sleeves and help out a lot. So. And speaking of keeping the environment nice and clean, we know you're a big supporter of local students and the environment. And our next topic combines both of them, in fact. You welcome students from the Las Vegas Day School to a tree planting event at Firefighters Memorial Park. This is great because the city has a plan to plant, is it 50,000 trees?
I believe it is, yes.
50,000 trees over the next few years. So
these are trees that are donated by Las Vegas Day School, and the students there are the 8th grade Honors Society students. So this is their community service project.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Great students to come out and give up time, and thank you to Las Vegas Day School. And we talked about it before, our city arborist is Brad Dossler, so he's the one that organizes all that, and he really does a great job.
He's fantastic. Yeah, he really knows his business. MPT, tell everybody out there why the trees, people say, well, if we're trying to conserve water, why are we planting trees? Well, it's to reduce some of that heat island effect that our city experiences, especially in the summer.
That's exactly it. It reduces the heat island, so we need less water going in it, and it's good for the environment too. It's healthy for parks, and it's fun to walk around under trees. And,
cooler.
They don't take as much water as you think they would.
Exactly
And
right.
The city spends a lot of time thinking through what's appropriate for our environment. So this isn't just any tree that you can plant like in the northeast of the country. This is
not
these
oaks
are trees,
and maples, right?
These are trees that are specific for our environment, that can thrive in our environment, and they make for a better park and experience.
Of course, improves air quality and all the things that go with it as well. So if you want to get involved in the whole tree project, let us hear from you because we got plenty more coming. So I'd love to have you get involved like the kids at Las Vegas Day School did. And this is also a tradition, Mayor Pro Tem. Let's talk about National Night Out. The Bolden Area Command hosted the event at the Doolittle Community Center. That's in Ward 5. But you and Councilman Creer share the Bolden Area Command with Metro. So you joined Councilman Cedric Creer for the festivities. And we have some great news to share with everyone. That event was one of the biggest ever in the history of National Night Out. That's awesome.
Always lots and lots of people. That's the third one I've participated in, and it's Bolden Area Command that puts it together, and they have booths from 100 different booths probably, and children are out there collecting stuff and learning stuff, and they're bouncing in bounce houses and meeting with police officers and firefighters. It's a great event altogether, and happy to go in and support Councilman Creer. It's in his ward, but about 90% of my ward is Bolden Area Command, so I spend a lot of time with Bolden.
And as does Ward 5 too. We always talk about this. National Night Out is a great opportunity for the community to meet the first responders that are going to serve that area. That's the whole idea. And
it's
also get to know your neighbors and share the fact that we're all in this together, maybe keep an eye out for one another when it comes to crime and that kind of thing.
That's exactly it. We're all in this together, get to know each other. And it's easy to do if you're out at a park.
Exactly.
With lots of trees. It all comes together.
See, it's all one. It's all one. National Night Out, for those of you maybe from some other part of the country think, well, isn't that the first Tuesday in August? Well, it is in most places, and we observe that here too, but in August, it's a little hot here, if you've not heard, in the first Tuesday in August. So we also do really kind of the big one in October, first Tuesday in October, where it's a little cooler. And it was beautiful that night. It
was a great event.
Speaking of great events, we love this. This is something that has become a tradition in our downtown now. You've been a tireless advocate for the LGBTQ plus community, and you, along with Cedric Creer, Councilman Cedric Creer, celebrated our Las Vegas Pride Parade with workers throughout the city of Las Vegas. Look at our showing, all in matching shirts. And again, another beautiful night to show Las Vegas pride and to support the LGBTQ plus community.
Super fun parade, super great organization that puts that parade on, and there was lots and lots and lots of people that had a good time. So absolutely loved it.
City folks went out there to show our support, marched in the parade along with everybody else, all the other entries. So
my drama for that night was they went in the neighborhood porch and I was on Big Red, and my kids were with me on Big Red. But
that's our big fire truck.
They really wanted to be on the neighborhood porch, and so I'm going to have to navigate next year. If we have the neighborhood porch, I got to get my children onto neighborhood porch instead.
So they're going porch instead of Big Red. Okay.
I don't think they wanted to be with me. I think they wanted to be with everybody else.
So well,
I understand what's going on now.
Welcome to fatherhood, Dad. That's the way it rolls. Take it from me. So, and MPT, want to tell everybody out there, holidays are fast approaching. You're going to be doing a lot of outreach. You do that every year. It's a nice tradition, outreach all through your ward for people maybe who are in a bit of need, trying to brighten their holidays, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas. But you started early at Decatur Commons. You were already out there.
So Lois Tarkanian started the tradition
I recall.
of holiday meals for several of the senior complexes that are within Ward 1. They're all kind of concentrated in the area between Alta and Charleston-ish. And so we do that every year since she started the tradition. And we now have Decatur Commons, which is a brand new complex. And so we have to weave them into the schedule. And as you know, this is a very busy event season for the city and our event staff. And we did pies and coloring and raffle prizes for the senior side and the family side of Decatur Commons. And then over the next couple of weeks, we'll hit up the Thanksgiving meals for Sartini Plaza and Jamestown and everybody else in that area.
Right. Those little events, they're not that little, but those events are so special to the people who live in those senior residence areas.
And it's nice. I've been doing it for several years now. So when you walk in, everybody knows me, and everybody has the same how's your kids doing? And we have your Christmas card on the fridge.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
Let's see the kids grow up, and then I can talk to them about what are the things that are challenging them, and it's good. It's good people.
That's the idea, and that they know that their councilman's listening, and that the city certainly hasn't forgotten them. No one's forgotten them. So
and that is a challenge for people living in those communities, is they think they've been forgotten. And so we got to remind them.
That's right. Exactly right. Well, MPT, always a good show when you're on, and we want to tell everybody out there, we're just about out of time, but hey, we always want to hear from you. So if there's something you'd like to share with Mayor Pro Tem Brian Knudsen, you can find him on Facebook and Twitter. You can also contact him by calling him. The number is 702-229-6405, or send him an email. His address is bknudsen@lasvegasnevada.gov, and he or one of his great staff, David or April or Maria, get right back to you. So they do a great job. You got a good crew up there. So. And MPT, we'll have to have you back in 6 weeks with another update from everything going on in Ward 1. If it was as busy as the last one, we're going to have to really hurry on the next show because there's been quite a bit going on. So anyway, good to have you on the show. We'll see you next time around. And folks, don't miss our next show beginning on November 16th with Councilwoman Olivia Diaz. You can now catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. And watch for our QR code during the closing credits of this show to subscribe to our newsletter. And don't forget, you can also watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thank you again for joining us. We'll see you next time around, everyone.